Yo, what up, guys? Travic here, and today I want to talk about Path of Exile's 3.26. It is spoiler season. We haven't had one of these in it's been about a year. We've had Settlers of Calgar, and that's been running close to a year now, so we haven't had a real true spoiler season in quite some time, and spoiler season for Path of Exile is usually a really exciting time. If you haven't caught up on all the spoilers, today we're going to catch you right up on all the spoilers because we're about 11 days out from the Path of Exile 3.26 launch date, and we're about 3 or 4 days out from the actual live stream reveal. Now, when that happens, I'll make sure to make a video and cover everything, so if you're not already doing so, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on those notification bells so you don't miss any of the updates. But let's get into it. First and foremost, with spoiler season, we're going to have a lot of information up until the release of the season and the live stream, and it all started with this simple note. This simple note starting and stating about 326 set everybody into a blaze. It is the craziest cryptic note, and it which leads us into what is the name of the reveal. First and foremost, the note says, for the first time in my life, I found meaning, purpose. A path has been revealed itself, winding inexorably towards the Atlas. There are secrets buried there, I know it. Secrets I was born to find. The trail is set, and I must follow it to find the originator. Now, this original leak or this original spoiler set people into a blaze. They were wondering who the originator was. They were wondering what's going on. People speculated Zana, people speculated Sirius, and all kinds of crazy things. And it only gets a little more wild from here. A couple days go by and we get the next note. And it says threads, impressions, realities woven from memory, and yet not quite right. Each one feels designed but distorted. I know how the originator hides their work. Is this how the originator hides this work? Or is it coming undone? Whatever the reason, I won't stop now. Not when I'm this close. Actually crazy chills. And what's even wilder is when they did this leak, over here in the corner, it says expansion name reveal this week. And then there's this, Navis here, which is like, I think people tried to speculate it was boats or a boat league. So, we knew the name of the reveal was coming. And as we got a little bit further and a little further, we got the name of the reveal to be the Secrets of the Atlas. Now, Path of Exile in itself has this website where it shows all of the updates and all of the everything. And I'm going to include this link for you guys down below, but let's talk about what we know and what's going on. First and foremost, Secrets of the Atlas is the name, and we are going to attempt to find just that, the Secrets of the Atlas. Some people are speculating that Zana is indeed coming back due to these rose petals everywhere, and just kind of the nature of her being one of the original people. There's some speculation that it's like the Kalandra. There's some speculation that it's Shaper before he does all the crazy stuff. So I'm sure we're in for an insanely wild ride once the expansion actually releases. The only thing that I'm kind of hoping that they don't do again is they do like they did in Kalandra League, where they set up this big story and this big massive everything, and they don't give us the actual answer or the finishing of the lore. That would be the only part that would make me really sad. So I am fully expecting, especially with it being a year out, to get some sort of crazy release, some sort of information bomb about what's been going on, why the world is shaping and evolving, and I really assume that the story will eventually lead us towards PoE 2. That's my big running theory, that the worlds in themselves will slowly get closer and closer and closer and closer together into what's going on. Maybe what happens in Secrets of the Atlas helps to shape the future of Path of Exile 2. Maybe something that we do with the originator or something we do back in time changes the timeline of everything leading towards Path of Exile 2, but we'll see in itself. Now, Path of Exile has done a great job of releasing all kinds of teasers and trailers. It's all on their Twitter page. I'll have that included for you down below if you don't follow them on Twitter. But we're in for some really big surprises. One of the first things that I want to showcase before we go into these announcements is one of the art directors or audio directors, the composer of the 7-hour music for Path of Exile 2, the lead composer at Grinding Your Games, released this trailer or this little teaser. And I'm going to play this for you guys so you guys can hear this. absolutely crazy. So I am assuming this is some big bad boss fight. If this is music, if this is like just the boss, I'm stoked. I'm in. I can't wait. Path of Exile does an absolutely fantastic job with their audio. So hearing this, knowing this is a little teaser of what's to come, has me thrilled out of my mind. Outside of that, there are so many things that Path of Exile is bringing, and let's start from the ground up. First and foremost, Path of Exile is going to give us the ability to now pause our game. As we begin playing through the game, we'll be able to pause our game and we won't have the problems that we've had in the past. I know some people are really excited about this, some people don't like this, but me personally, I love this idea. I loved it in Path of Exile 2, and I love the idea that it's coming to Path of Exile 1. You can see right here, he presses escape, boom, the game is paused. You don't have to worry about anything, and as a parent, it makes life super easy to be able to just pause the game. On top of that, the game will now pause for us in our passive tree. So I don't have to hurry up and rush. I can take my time, I can think, I can level inside of a map. I don't have to worry about getting jumped by anything. And this is a really cool feature Path of Exile 2 has that's coming over to PoE 1 that I'm personally really excited for. But just like Path of Exile 2, it will not work inside of boss phases. So, you got to make sure that while you're bossing, you are prepared, because you cannot pause. And if you try to pause, you are going to get clapped. Now, the more trailers and the more teases and the more releases that we get, we constantly get information like this. And I can't wait to see what's going on with this guy. Now, outside of pausing, we had Atlas and map device quality of life. This is another change coming with Secrets of the Atlas, and I thought this one was really interesting. Not my favorite, but very nice and very cool to really give you a little bit of extra breathing room when you're trying to do things. I've talked to a lot of people are very excited about this. First and foremost, our horizon orbs now, to make this a little bit bigger and easier to see, our horizon orbs now will now change our elder maps to other elder maps, and our conqueror maps to other conqueror maps. Huge quality of life change. For me personally, I love this. I know when I do a lot of farming strategies, I get one side of one map and I never have the others. So this will make things really easy, especially in a trade environment when trying to sell sets of maps. Outside of that, the Atlas device is going to have an extra side of storage. We can see that up here, and it holds 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 maps. Not only does it hold your maps, but it allows you to put your other crafting materials in. So like you could put your scarabs, your alex, whatever you want in there to really allow you to just really at any will and time, just be able to make a couple of maps and blast. And I think this is a really good change. I like it. It's not my favorite biggest of changes, but I think it's a good change overall. Now, I paused it very specifically on this screen because a lot of people didn't notice this. In Path of Exile 2, when you click on an orb, the orb will allow you to see all of the things that you can use it on, and Path of Exile 1 seems to be getting that feature. Currently, right now, if I back it up a second, our player clicks on an orb of alchemy and he goes to use it on this map. Now you're going to notice right away, this box is highlighted, this box is highlighted, this box and this box and this box. Essentially, they brought over the technology from PoE 2 to PoE 1. We will now be able to highlight, or we'll actually be able to see what we can use our orbs on, and it makes life super simple and really kind of nice. Now they demonstrate here that you could put your scarabs in the map device like we had mentioned, and that's, I think, a really other cool feature coming too. And overall, it's just going to be a really nice quality of life that makes mapping in itself a little bit easier. Moving forward, one of my biggest favorite changes coming is the Betrayal improvements. Betrayal, for me personally, is a league mechanic that I never really dived into. It has never been something that I've fully enjoyed. I never understood the boards, and I'm hoping they do something with the boards. And June in itself was just like kind of like there and whatever. Now with 3.26 coming, June is going to be relieving a lot of her, a lot of what she does, and we are able to now right click, and you see him do that right here. We will now be able to right click items that are unveiled and veil them whenever we want at any given point, and be able to put the mod on our item. Now you notice, back in the day, we'd have to do all this and we'd have to, bring it to June and do all that, but that's no longer a thing. You're now able to go through your maps and find and unveil everything. And on top of that, we do not need to find veiled items anymore to unlock the recipes. They will be inside of maps, allowing us to unveil and have all the recipes a lot easier and smoother through our early league progression. Me personally, I never did a lot of June. I was always buying items with, veils on them. I was always hoping to unveil a couple of things, and this makes it a little bit easier. Now, there are some niche case scenarios, especially when you're trying to unveil very specific mods from, say, Janus or Coral or something like that, because you want to do some fracture stuff. That might be a little bit awkward, a little weird, but I'm sure we'll see when 3.26 comes out, the steps and the process that we have to take, and it won't be that big of a deal at all. Now, out of all of the spoilers and all of the teasers, this one is my absolute positive favorite. There are new endgame crafting orbs coming that will make life so much simpler. If you've watched my content in the past and you followed along, when I played my last chieftain or ancestral commander, we had to make a very specific weapon, and a lot of those issues and headaches are now going to be solved with this new crafting endgame orb update. First and foremost, an old favorite is now returning, and we're going to be seeing that really soon in a second as they unveil what's coming on. Now, you're going to see right away in our player's inventory, we now have 2 sets of veiled orbs, and the veiled chaos orb is making a return. We will now once again be able to, hopefully, knock on wood, fingers crossed, lock prefixes or suffixes and unveil an item without having to go through the hoops and jumps of having to kill Katarina and buy a really, really, really expensive orb. That's the hope. That's the pray. We're also hoping that this orb is relatively on the easier side to find, and it's not locked behind some crazy kind of steps to do. So that is the first big thing. The second big thing is the Katarina craft in itself, the tier 4 craft that you would, or Ashling craft that you would buy, is also still a veiled exalted orb. We can now remove and add a modifier just like we normally would from last league as an orb. I assume this is the orb that's going to be locked behind Katarina, and this one's still going to be on the rarer side of things and quite expensive, but we have access to the veiled chaos orb, which makes mid-tier crafting a lot easier. You'll be able to make your boots, your rings, your pretty much everything a lot simpler, a lot smoother, as long as the orbs are more readily available, and you won't really have to worry about, any kind of weird niche stuff. Once again, we can rejoice by putting life on our stuff or movement speed on our boots or something super simple without stressing and breaking the bank. The last major change that comes along with side of everything is that we are now getting Shaper and Elder Exalted Orbs. Now, the mentioned earlier, the Ancestral Commander, with the Ancestral Commander, we needed a Shaper weapon, and it was pretty much a pain to make. You had to jump through a lot of hoops, you had to reforge a lot of bases, you had to do a lot of weird steps and weird things, and now with this new orb, we can now just slam Shaper Influence onto an item, or Elder Influence onto an item, and that makes life so simple. It makes it a little bit easier trying to 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 certain mods to get Shaper and Elder mods on items. And me personally, I'm really, really, really excited about that. I went through a lot of hoops to try to make that weapon last league where you were praying to get endurance charges and you had to do this and you had to do that. And now, you just get to the last step, pop it back on, 1 in 3, cross your fingers, boom, baby, we are done. So I know me personally, I am looking forward to that. Over the next couple of days, we are going to be getting a lot more reveals, a lot more teasers, a lot more of this, a lot more of that. And I'm really, really excited. Like I said, we haven't had a spoiler league in so long that now that we're in a spoiler season, I am thrilled out of my mind. I will also be including for you guys this Reddit thread. This Reddit thread has all the information that's been leaked so far. They've been doing a great job at updating it. And you can see some of the other, you can see some of the other stuff that's coming on, some of the, announcements and, interviews and stuff like that. And I'll have this, guys, included for you down below. But as we get closer and closer to the reveal, and as we get more information, I'll be doing more videos about it. It's nice to get back into PoE1. It's nice to be excited for the league. I know I'm going to be starting to figure out my league start come patch notes on Friday. And once we have all that information, as well as I do, I'll be putting out as much information as I can to get us ready for the league start. I'll have information on the league starter, how I'm going to level, where I'm going to level, what my plans are, what I'm doing about Blight, if I'm doing Sanctum, and all kinds of information. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And if you're, you want to stay up to date, you can come by the live streams, you can go to the Discord, you can hit the subscribe button down below, and that'll be all the places that you can get all the information. For now, friends, I'm going to get this video to you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.